I might just keep the ball rolling a little bit on southern bluefin tuna just to fill people in on what's been happening there, because that features some very interesting technological advances at the moment. The aquaculture for bluefin tuna, it was one of those things that's for a long time now it's been very, very debatable as to whether it actually constitutes aquaculture. A lot of environmentalists and conservationists, fishery scientists are very unhappy with it being called aquaculture, because basically what it involves is wild captured juveniles being taken into net pens and then fattened up through fish feed, and then being sent off to the to Tokyo fish markets where a lot of them end up. You know, most of the good stuff ends up going to Japan, and there's a reason for that. They pay enormous amounts of money, as has already been highlighted. But the issue there is, for a long time the life cycle wasn't actually closed. It was just that fattening up process. You might name just about any other fish species in Australian aquaculture: Atlantic salmon, barramundi, silver perch, murray cod, whatever the case may be, the life cycles are always closed. Up until fairly recently that hadn't been done, and then clean seas aquaculture in South Australia came up with a world first, where they actually were able to breed the southern bluefin tuna. The bluefin tuna is a bit like the Ferrari of the fish world. You know, it's a big oceanic speedster, very, very challenging fish to keep in captivity. This is not the sort of thing that you can bung in a 2,000 litre tank. You've got to have these giant tanks to be able to hold these fish. And what Clean Seas actually did, Hagen Steer, who is one of the, I think last time I heard, he was one of the 200 richest people in the country, ended up designing this aquaculture enterprise where the roof of the building actually opens up with these massive tanks inside, and the helicopter that has secured the 100 plus kilo brood fish comes in and drops them through with the helicopter. So that's the sort of level that we were talking about with trying to breed a species like that. Environmentalists, again, conservationists point out that while the life cycle's been closed, we've got a few eggs coming through, leading to a few juveniles. That is still not really sustainable, and they're correct, that's a long way away from being sustainable in 2014. But it bodes well for the future. They're giving it one hell of a crack to try and make this thing a sustainable species, in as far as the aquaculture process goes, closing the life cycle, but potentially also in the future for restocking. Not everything that gets reared in captivity in an aquaculture enterprise ends up going to human consumption. It ends up going into the world's oceans or rivers or whatever for restocking purposes, be it for recreational or commercial fishing or for betterment of the wild stocks. So that's one of the more interesting technological advances going around at the moment. Where it leads to, who knows, but that's a foot in the door.
Great, thanks Andrew. And just quickly, Alice wants to make a quick comment, and then I'm going to
and how they have been trying to close the life cycle of the southern bluefin tuna, and spent an enormous amount of money and research dollars trying to do that. But each year they would come out and say that, some of the fingerlings, which are the babies, have survived, but then you would never actually hear or publicly read about reports where all of them had died. So they've only ever been able to keep them about this big and this alive for 1 week, and I think it was 2 months ago, Clean Seas abandoned their southern bluefin tuna breeding program, so they're not trying to do it anymore. I just thought it was
great. Thank you. Thanks for that update, Alice.